Yo, sometimes life calls for a change. Not fake, just different. It'll show you a different way. And right now, I'm on to my different way. I can promise you this is the same Spann, but the reporting is over. I'd like to welcome you to the Mrs. Spann official podcast. Let's go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann official podcast. I am your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 42 of the show. And yeah, man, it's been a while. It's been a while since the last time we talked. It's just been a while. Yeah, man, work been kicking my ass. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with y'all. Work been kicking my ass, and so even on the weekends, man, I've been finding myself in the bed more often than not, just resting up and shit. I didn't get out of the bed yesterday till about 4:00 in the afternoon, man. Your man Spann be tired, man. I be tired, man. And I know it's the weather is finally breaking, you know what I'm saying? So especially when if you're working in construction, you guys know that when the weather finally breaks, springtime finally gets here, this is the busy season. And so we out here getting to it. And it's just I get to y'all when I can. My body, I got to listen to my body, man. I'm getting old now, see? And you got to listen to your body, man. Your body be telling you, hey, bro, get the rest. I be fighting sleep and shit, and I be losing that battle every night. You know what I'm saying? But nah, man, you got to listen to your body. The older you get, your body is giving you signs. You need to listen to it. So I've been listening to my body a lot lately. And lately, your man Spann been needing a lot of rest, man. But we got some things we're going to talk about tonight. And hopefully it won't be a couple weeks before the next time I talk to y'all, man. We get to this a little sooner, right? But of course, before we get into everything, man, I do have to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mrs. Spann official podcast and let your voice be heard, man. You can go ahead and hit us up at our hotline at area code 313-288-0485. This area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails, and of course those emails will get read here and reply to here live as well. Follow me on Twitter, and I am on Twitter still, but I'm not really much on there, right? So follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. My name on all three of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there, chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, man, subscribe to our YouTube channel, because we are broadcasting here live on not only on YouTube, but we're also on Facebook. And so let's see, where else are we? Yeah, YouTube and Facebook right now. We were doing something with I forgot to put it on Twitter tonight. So yeah, we're not broadcasting the live tonight on Twitter. But yeah, man, right now we're live on YouTube and Facebook. So if you're watching us on either one of those platforms, man, chime in with us, man. Not only subscribe to the channel, but also contribute to the conversation, man. Leave us those comments and let us know what you're thinking about what we're talking about here on the show. And we will reply to some of those comments, if they're worthy of, highlighting and things like that, right? So yeah, man, we appreciate everybody who does that. And subscribing to the show doesn't cost you nothing on YouTube, man. So it's free. You know what I'm saying? What you can't beat free, man. So go ahead and hit us up that way, right? Also, we're on Spotify and iTunes and just about everywhere else you listen to podcasts, right? But if you're listening to us on Spotify and or Apple Podcast, leave us a review, a 5-star review. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime there either. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann official podcast and the Spann Report podcast network in its entirety, right? Also on Spotify, we do have polls and we do have comment sections there that you can leave some comments there. So if you're listening to us via Spotify, man, vote in those polls, man. Leave us those comments. Let us know what you're thinking about what we're talking about here over on the Mr. Spann official podcast, man. Real talk. But yeah, man, we got the business out of the way. I got like maybe I got one random thought, really. One random thought. And this is just something I was thinking about over the course of the week, man. So every now and again, man, like, you know, I'm not real big on like the short form video shit. Like, y'all know I'm a long-winded nigga. So like, you know, the short form stuff, I'm not really effective in that way, right? I can't get you in 30 seconds or whatever. Nah, I can't. I'm too long-winded, man. I need some room to you know, to get these thoughts and shit out, right? But every now and again, I might catch myself watching a few reels and shit on Instagram. I mean, not on Instagram, but every now and again on Instagram too. But every now and again, I might catch myself watching a reel on Facebook. And one of the things I hate about it, though, is that I'll be watching a reel, not knowing that, you know, if I do hit the comment section, it's gonna say, hey, in order for you to read the comments, you got to go over to Instagram, and that's
the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. There's no wonder you get D's and everything.
Hey, man, I ain't trying to go to Instagram. I'm on Facebook right now. Why are you trying to take me out of one app and go to the whole other app in order to... I'm watching this shit right here. I should be able to read the comments right here, bruh. I know they can figure that a way around that shit. I know they can. They all intertwine, man. All the meta shit. Instagram, Facebook, Threads, it all the same shit. So, hey, man, help me help you by doing the shit that I'm asking you to do for me. You know, like that's my one random thought. What a week, man. Real talk. But yo, man. So yeah, we're just gonna get right into this, man. We're gonna get right into this. So it's been a lot of shit going on, man. There's been a lot of things going on over the last couple of weeks, especially like rap beef, man. Like I want to say Cat Williams has really like unleashed the beast, man, in 2024, man. Cat Williams came out with the Club Shay Shay interview, and, you know, he was airing out grievances that he's got with so many different people within the industry, with the comedians and everything. Just like aired the clip out. Some of the shit he was saying, he was lying, and some of the shit he was saying was the truth, right? But I think what he unleashed made other people, they saw, here's what I think. What Cat Williams did, and the attention of what Cat Williams did, made it so where everybody felt like, well, damn, I can garner some attention for my damn self if I go on ahead and I put my beef out there too, right? And so suddenly you starting to hear about all these different beefs with dudes and comedy and shit, and you're like, damn, I'm thinking these niggas just up here telling jokes. I didn't know these niggas had all these fights and beefs and shit amongst each other. Like, I didn't even know that was a whole... I guess you gotta be amongst the people. If you know, you know. If you're amongst the industry, those are the things that they kept amongst themselves. And then Cat Williams kind of put that out there, and then boom, everybody was like airing out all their grievances and shit, right? Well, I think now is the season for the rappers. The rappers, they got some beefs going on, man. We got fucking, what's my man's name? Kendrick Lamar came out on a track with Future and Metro Boomin going at Drake, and then he also kind of mentioned J. Cole's name, and then J. Cole came out with a diss track, and then J. Cole started feeling bad about putting the diss track out, and like he apologized for the diss track, and niggas was mad at him for like apologizing for the diss track, and like most of the niggas who were listening to J. Cole when he was giving that apology, and it was more so like,
nigga, please.
They weren't trying to hear that shit, especially the old head niggas, right? The old head niggas is like really on some, hey, nigga, what the fuck are you doing? Nigga, that's what we do. Nigga, that's what we do. Nigga, we out. Come on, man. You can't go out like this, J. Cole. You can't go out like this, man. Like the old heads was mad, right? And meanwhile, some of the younger niggas like, man, I appreciate J. Cole's growth. Right, you know, J. Cole is shedding the toxic masculinity of, you know, the hip hop culture, and, you know, we need to applaud J. Cole for, you know, his attempt to like kind of simmer down what could possibly be, you know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, the old head niggas like, nah, I ain't trying to hear that shit, man. I ain't trying to hear that shit. This is what we do, nigga. This is what we do. And it's like, it's funny because, like, you know, I'm old enough to remember when rap beefs was getting niggas killed. You know what I'm saying? Rap beefs was getting niggas put about the paint, bro. Like I remember when Tupac got shot in Las Vegas and where I was when that happened and where I was when he ultimately passed away. I remember when Biggie Smalls got shot in LA and where I was when he succumbed to his injuries and shit. I remember like the radio station here in Detroit, WJLB at the time, was sending out grief counselors to the high schools and shit. The radio station was sending grief counselors to the high school to ask the kids and talk to the kids about how they were feeling about these rap legends being gunned down and taken out and shit. Like, we was having fucking rap symposiums and stuff at the school because of what was going on with Pac and Biggie and shit. So I remember what that was like back then, right? So it's just like kind of interesting, like having seen what that was and having seen what you know, like the what was that? Having seen the response to that in real time, it's been interesting to me to see those same people who had those same experiences be like, nah, nigga, rap beef, nigga, like right back to the same old shit. And it's also weird when we in like our 40s and shit, and we still asking for the same shit that we saw when we was in like high school and whatnot, right? So it's kind of crazy, right? It's kind of crazy, but it ain't just the rap niggas. Apparently, it ain't just the rap niggas because for whatever reason, you know, this is how I know I ain't really all connected into the shit no more. When I'm like, all right, like a lot of this shit I ain't really up on, but for whatever reason, nigga, Chris Brown released a diss track against Quavo from the Migos, man, and I'll be damned, bro, just. This shit was motherfucking respectful, bro. I mean, disrespectful. Like, I was listening to this like, God damn, did he really just say that shit, nigga? Like, yeah, man. So, what I decided I was gonna do, because I was also while I was away from the mic, I noticed this is something that the YouTube kiddies is into now. This is something that they do all the time. Everybody's got a response video now. Right? Everybody is responding to the shit, right? So we're gonna respond here live right here on the show, man. We're gonna respond to this diss track that Chris Brown put out against Quavo on of the Migos, right? So let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me. Hopefully YouTube don't be on the bullshit tonight, man. Real talk, because yeah, I want to claim this shit right now. This is fair use, nigga. We gonna be discussing the shit as it's happening. You know what I'm saying? We having a discussion about what's going on. We're not actually just playing the shit for the distribution and all. You know, the fair use, you know, language or whatever. Because YouTube been on some bullshit lately when it comes to my channel and you know, playing, you know, videos for the context of what we're talking about, right? So yeah, I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me here. Let me do this here. Where is it? Bam, there we go. And okay, so boom, here we go. Okay, so off top, the man is eating a hot dog. And I as I was watching this, if you're not watching live, man, there's the clip art is of Quavo eating a hot dog, right? And I swear, man, this is how I know I'm too old, because like niggas are, oh my god, he eating a glizzy, nigga, he eating a glizzy. Like niggas are really like get worked up to see a man eat a hot dog, bro. And I get it. It's like the immaturity of, you know, like niggas equate hot dogs with dicks and all this other shit. But nigga, hot dogs are hot dogs, bro. We've been eating them all our lives. What the fuck is wrong with y'all, right? But but yo, man, I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Let's see what this is what Chris Brown talking about. This song is called Weak as Lick. So let's see what they talking about.
Now we can settle this like you got some class, so we can get into some gangster shit.
Hey Chris, I don't want no issues, bro. I don't want no smoke. I don't want fights. I don't want to do nothing, bro.
Okay, that was another thing too, right? So this is supposed to be audio of Quavo's calling Chris Brown, saying he don't want to fight, he don't want no smoke, he don't want no beef, this, that, and the other. We live in an age of AI right now, man. Don't even know if this shit is even real. Don't even know if this shit is real. But this is how he starts his song off.
Like, please, bro.
Who want smoke with me? Who want smoke with me? Who want smoke with me? Who want smoke with C? Who want smoke with me? Who want...
I was listening to this shit in my car though. This shit go, nigga. This shit go.
Yeah, Okay, let's get down to the facts. Pussy, I'm dripped in red. Don't let this R&B shit fool you niggas get ripped to shreds. Quavo talking like he a thug, nigga, you a bitch with dread. Can't wait to see the day that you back up all of that shit you said. What's all that ball shit you talking? You ain't no huncho, nigga. You the weakest link out of your clique, let's keep it a hundo, nigga. You fuck my ex-hoe, that's cool, I don't give no fuck, little nigga. Cause I fucked your ex when you was still with a bitch, I'm up, little nigga.
So he gotta kill him after that, right? Right, hey man, hey man, no, that's not that's the wrong one. Cause
Oh man, hey,
man, you gotta kill him after that, right? You gotta do something. Them fighting words right there, bro. Like you gotta put them paws on the nigga after that shit. Like seriously, man, you can't. Come on, bro. That's disrespectful.
They say revenge is sweet. Now think about that shit. Don't let that line go over your head. I might just sing about that shit. I had a feeling about that dick. There's something sweet about that shit. I got some tea about that bitch, but I ain't gonna speak about that shit.
Also, let's also keep this buck. A lot of these rap beefs is about them and women, right? Like a lot of this has to do with the fact it's weird that like these people have access to like, you know, these industry dudes have access to like just about any women they want, right? Like there's the fans already like all over the world, man, are ready to throw themselves at these dudes, and yet they still find themselves interacting with and having and just like being with and sharing with the same group of people, bro. And it's like, yo, man, like y'all got so much access to so many other people. Why do y'all keep doing this shit? But you know, that's just 43-year-old man talking.
I ain't playing chess with a checker player. I'm a ticking bomb on a detonator. I shit on niggas, I'm a defecator. I put amigo on a ventilator. Stop talking about beating girls. You was beating bitches on the elevator. We seen the taste, that's devastating. You doing bad, you a bitch. And
Also, let me ask y'all this question. Let me ask y'all this question here, because I saw something on social media a couple days ago. It was I think it was Jill Scott, where she was talking about how she appreciates Chris Brown for his artistry. She appreciates Chris Brown for his talents and everything else. And there were some people on social media who were like, yo, Chris Brown's a woman beater. And, you kind of giving him a pass on that. It ain't a good look for you. You know what I'm saying? And Jill Scott was on some, I think she told a personal story about like her mom being with an abusive man, but he was also talented with like laying, he was like he laid foundation or some shit like that. And so he was talented in that way, but he was also whooping her mama's ass. And so there was some redeeming qualities about him. And, we should be able to appreciate folks for their redeeming qualities. And I gotta say, I don't agree with Jill Scott on that shit at all. Like, I think there's a degree to where you do hold grace for certain people, but then also for like people who are kind of unrepentant about their shit. Like, I don't think we owe them any sort of grace at all if they don't see that they're doing anything wrong, and they are harming other people. I don't feel like the rest of us owe these motherfuckers any sort of grace at all. And I say that when it comes to people like R. Kelly. I say this when it comes to people like Aaron Hall. I say this when it comes to people like Bobby Womack. I say like there's some shitty people who are very talented, but they are very shitty people. I said Brian McKnight is a current example of this shit, right? Brian McKnight is still out here antagonizing his kids on social media, and you still got people like, well, we don't know Brian McKnight, but them kids do. And if those kids, his own flesh and blood is having a certain kind of experience with that guy, I think that we should really be paying attention to what these people are saying, right? But also, I got this question for y'all. Y'all think Chris Brown can really fight? Real talk. I'm asking this at like dead ass. Do y'all really think Chris Brown got hands like that? Because the only time we've ever heard about Chris Brown laying hands or putting hands on anybody has been with, women. Right? Has been with women. Has Chris Brown ever really been like known to like, get down with with some dudes, man? I know he's claiming the blood gang and shit, but like it was like nigga got with the Bloods when he was grown and fucking rich already. It's like, come on, man, you doing this shit backwards. Most people get with the gang because, you know, they looking for a family and shit. Nigga, you had money and fame before they even came to fuck with you. And so now, like, it's just weird, man. So I'm wondering, though, like, real talk. As Chris Brown got a reputation of throwing hands with niggas, because the only time I ever hear Chris Brown throwing hands is like he throwing hands at either Rihanna or Karuchi or whoever. Like he's got restraining orders against multiple women, like, or multiple women have restraining orders against him. So, like, do y'all think Chris Brown really got hands? Do he be boxing like that? I'm curious. What y'all think? Maybe that'd be the poll question tonight. Let this play some more.
Your music trash. Fashion week, they set me next to your lame ass. I was truly mad. All I kept thinking about was breaking your face, but I gave you a pass. You lucky I ain't wanna fuck the money up, boy. I would've broke you in half. Quit trying to be tough.
Also, I'm gonna just say this for me. If I got problems with a nigga, man, we not sitting next to each other, bro. It ain't happening. One of us gotta move. I'll move, he moving, but one of us moving. I can't do that, bro. I can't be trusted to sit with a motherfucker I can't stand, because they gonna do something, man. Something. And it might be something small. It might be something small. And I'm telling y'all, man, I'm in therapy. I'm working on my shit. But at the same time, I know where I'm at. And if I got problems with a nigga, I ain't gonna be able to sit next to a motherfucker and act like it ain't nothing, bro. I can't do that. Now he talking about you want to fuck the money up. I hear all that. Hey, don't fuck the money up. But also, hey man, y'all gotta change the seating arrangement. This ain't happening. And then, you know, you're someone of Chris Brown's stature, bro. You can get the bag someplace else. It ain't got to be the bag at this place. You can get the bag someplace else. So yeah, man, that goes into the whole thing. I'm wondering, man, like, yo, he's saying, yo, I was thinking about breaking your face and all this other shit. Like, yo, bro, but you sat there, man. Like, you sat there. You got issues with this man. And y'all sat there. How deep are these motherfucking issues outside of, you know, y'all being mad at smashing each other's chicks? I don't get it. But, you know, that's me, 43. I have to keep reminding myself.
You ain't like that, why you keep showing off? Quit talk about drugs, you the only pack that I've been smoking on. I just hit my plug, told him come back, I'ma need more than one. Your last album was a weed trade, just some bullshit that we roll up on. You know what's on, put you to bed. Night, that's Sudafed. Show me that I'm tender, bitch. Time to prove what you just said. R.I.P. take off, he the only real one that got true respect. Crazy how when he died, everybody really wished it was you instead. Oh shit! You tripping.
God damn!
Yeah, man. That was fucked up. That's a fucked up thing to say to a nigga, man. Like Chris Brown basically was like, obviously this nigga has no respect for Quavo, man. He has no, like, if it wasn't up at the fashion show, nigga, it's up now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's up now. Like, nigga, the next time I see you, it's on site, nigga. It is on site with your ass the next time I see you. And so, yeah, that's some shit to say to a nigga, man. God damn.
Chris, don't say that, don't lose your head. You done turned a big bad wolf on these fuck niggas, never knew revenge. This what happens when a fuck nigga push a real nigga out to the edge. This what happens when a dumb nigga gets fame and it get to his head. You gon' kiss this ring, nigga. Big fuck you from my middle finger. I tattoo my trigger finger. Bring real beat to your dinner table. My mental state ain't never stable. I know this shit gon' sting, nigga. I ran your ass through the ringer, nigga. You just got bodied by a singing nigga. Bitch. Who want smoke with me? Who want smoke with me? Who want smoke with me?
All right, yeah. That's pretty much the track there, man. But here's the other thing too, man. A lot of people didn't know that Chris Brown could rap, right? I remember seeing Chris Brown do a freestyle. I believe it was on Funk Flex or something like that. The boy got talent. I've never denied that Chris Brown was a talented motherfucker, man. But at the end of the day, man, like I didn't see this shit here coming, bro. But I guess that's because I'm not into I'm just not in this shit like I used to be no more, man. But like that's the one thing about social media though. Like there are some things that'll just come down your timeline where like you might not necessarily be looking for it, but the damn show shit gonna find you because everybody around you gonna be talking about that shit, right? Everybody around you gonna be talking about that shit. But the other thing too that I was thinking about when it comes to the social media thing, right? Let me as I pull this down. But another thing I was thinking about when it comes to the social media thing, somebody on Threads had posted what's the worst thing about social media, and what I said on there was essentially the obsession with celebrity culture that we have, right? we have an obsession with a celebrity culture to where I know way too much about way too many strangers against my fucking will, man. Like I don't know these niggas, and yet I know so much about them, right? Like even if you're not a celebrity, right? If you're just someone I saw on, we may have an ancillary connection through another podcast that we listen to together, and we became friends that way, or we just have a connection. We might have similar interest in a certain topic or whatever. We followed each other for that reason, and then suddenly, like, I'm looking at you, sharing pictures of you in the hospital crying, and you're getting really bad news, and they'd be like, shit, prayers up, you know what I'm saying? But also like, shit, man, that's fucked up. And also, shit, this ain't none of my business, or if there's people, venting about their relationships and stuff like that openly on social media, like, hey man, y'all need to leave us out of this, bro. Like, I feel like we know way too much about way too many people because of social media. Like, and also because of social media, we feel an ownership of these folks. And so when folks are not sharing more on social media, we are upset with them because they are not sharing a lot of their lives with us on social media. You think about someone like Beyonce, who, when she does decide to share anything about her life, y'all gonna pay for this shit. You gonna see it in a video. You gonna see it in like in the form of an album or something like that. But for the most part, like, Beyonce ain't on social media like that. And when y'all do find out what's going on with her, it's through some shit she about to sell y'all. So yeah, man. I just thought that was interesting, man. The rap beef is like, is spreading like a virus all over social media, man. Drake out here like clowning on fucking Kendrick Lamar, man. He used AI, and that's why I was saying, like, even the whole thing with Quavo, and that's supposedly being a phone call from Quavo to Chris Brown. Like, yo, Drake was just out here using AI to diss Kendrick Lamar using an AI version of Snoop and Tupac, right? So like, yo, AI is here, and I think we need to be a little bit more savvy in how we navigate around that. And I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that a little later in the show. But yeah, man, it's crazy, man. Rap beef with R&B dudes is happening now, man. Like, before it was just the rapping niggas, now the rapping niggas and the R&B niggas. The R&B niggas is jumping into rap beefs with rap niggas. It's crazy out here, man. 2024 was off the chain, and we only like a quarter through this bitch, and it's already off the chain, man. Real talk. Now, another thing we want to talk about here tonight, man. College basketball, the college basketball season is over with now. Shout out to the South Carolina Gamecocks, the Lady are they the Lady Gamecocks? I'm not sure how they refer to themselves. But South Carolina won. Their head coach, Dawn Staley, won, I believe, her third national championship. So she's now like cemented as one of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. I'm sure this will not be her last national championship. But one of the things that has happened is with the women's tournament, like the women's college basketball tournament, I believe for the first time was much more popular than the men's tournament when it comes to college basketball, right? And there's a bunch of different reasons for that. One of the things, like for me, I have kind of not necessarily been a fan of the college game over the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years, because a lot of the players in the men's game, if they're worth a damn, a lot of those dudes are one and done, man. They are not going to stay with that team. If they got a shot at going to the NBA, they are gone in one season. And like, there's no team built, there's like, you don't get a chance to see that guy, kind of mature and become the player where you're like, yo, when he do get to the league, he going to be a problem. Right. And then when I was coming up, there used to be a time where that was something that we would do, right? I remember being able to watch Grant Hill at Duke and be like, yo, when he gets to the league, he gonna be a problem. When Tim Duncan was at Wake Forest, I remember like, yo, man, he the number one pick, man. When he gets to the league, he gonna be a problem. When the greatest draft class probably ever, the 1996 draft, man. I remember like everybody's favorite player from that draft was Allen Iverson. My favorite player from that draft was Ray Allen. right? When he was at UConn, I'm like, yo, Ray Allen to me was like, I like this game, man. Not only could the man like score from pretty much anywhere, but he was smooth with it. You know what I'm saying? Ray Allen had a smooth ass game. And so like, I was a fan of him more. I mean, I liked Allen Iverson, but I just like, I like Ray Allen better. You know what I'm saying? I thought he was the better player. Now I can't, years later, you find out like, no, Allen Iverson was a better player. But like, yo, man, Ray Allen had a very, very, very good career over the course of, some years, and he won a couple championships. Man, unfortunately for Allen Iverson, he was never able to really get over that hump, right? But yeah, man. But I say all that to say, when I was coming up, man, you used to be able to watch these guys kind of develop, and you knew you kind of had an idea who was going to be great at, or good at least at the next level, and who wouldn't. And where like now with the NBA game, it's, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know these niggas. Like, I don't know who the fuck is playing college basketball anymore. Like, I'm so disconnected from what college basketball is now. I don't know who these niggas is. My favorite basketball team, or my favorite college basketball team outside of, I got two teams, right? Michigan and Tennessee State, right? Michigan was my dream school. I didn't go there. Tennessee State was a school I actually went to. Those are my two schools. I couldn't tell you who the fuck plays for Michigan, man. Right? I couldn't tell you. Michigan sucked this year, man. They didn't even play worth a damn this year. And it didn't matter because I didn't know who the fuck played on anybody else's team. I don't know who's good on any of these teams, because the good guys, they don't stay. They either go straight to the league, or they go to the G League, or they go to some of these other shits, they go overseas or whatever. But the women's game is where we get a chance to see, like not just one season, but multiple seasons of these young ladies develop into great players. And so, over the course of the last two seasons, we've seen a bit of a rivalry develop between, Louisiana State's, now Chicago Sky, player Angel Reese, and Iowa, now Indiana Fever player Caitlin Clark, right? We've seen them kind of develop a bit of a rivalry, and not only that, bring much more attention to the women's basketball game, right? To where, people were much more invested in the women's college basketball tournament than they were the men's game. Because again, like I said, a lot of people just don't even know who the fuck these dudes is anymore. Right. So we get a chance to like kind of watch these young ladies develop into the players that they're going to be. And then we can project, we start projecting like, oh, this girl is going to be, she going to be good when she get to this, when she get to the league, she going to be a problem. Caitlin Clark going to be a problem. Right. But then the other part about it is, there's the racial dynamic where you got Caitlin Clark, who is a fucking assassin from all over the goddamn court, and is ultimate, like she's the closest thing the women's game has to a Steph Curry, right? She's that good. The woman is good, right? But she's white. And so you got a bunch of people who are, I'll just say it, man. You got a bunch of us. You got a bunch of us who are a little hesitant to give her the credit that she deserves, because we feel as though much of the credit that she gets is because she's white. Right, that she's probably not that good, and the only reason that they're giving her all this credit is because she's white, and they haven't had a white superstar in basketball, American born, in quite a long time. Even the best white players in the NBA are from someplace else, so they don't have that attachment to them, right? So that's where a lot of the, there's the racial animosity that comes in there, especially after the national championship game of last year where LSU beat Iowa, and you had the juxtaposition of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese in that national championship game, where Dr. Jill Biden, the first lady of the United States, actually was thinking about inviting the University of Iowa to the White House after the LSU won the national championship game. People took offense to that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, they wouldn't be doing that shit if it wasn't for this white girl. You had a whole lot of that going on. So you got that racial dynamic going on, but also you got a bunch of people who hadn't necessarily been paying attention to the women's game now paying attention to the women's game, right? And so that comes with more scrutiny, and with that more scrutiny comes the knuckleheads talking about what's going on with them, right? With what's going on with women's basketball. Now, The reason why I'm even talking about this tonight is because Caitlin Clark's WNBA salary was published, right? And apparently she's going to be making a grand total of $338,000 over 4 years. $338,000 over 4 years, man. And people are like, yo, that's all they getting? That's all they getting? Right? People are shocked by how much less she's going to make as a professional player in the WNBA as opposed to what players make in the NBA, right? Now, for those of you who have who go a long ways back with me, who go back to not just even the Spann report, but back when we had the sports show, the Beer and Chicken podcast going, and I've been talking with my man Cliff about trying to get that shit going back up, man. We got to get it together. But I remember me and Cliff clashing a little bit because I was talking about I was talking about this years ago, where there were players. There were referees. The referees in the NBA were making more money than the top players in the WNBA. Okay, I'm gonna say that again. The referees in the NBA were making more money than the top players in the WNBA, right? And I remember at the time I was telling people always go back to this, and it's not to say that there's no validity to this, but there's something to be said about this still, to me in general, right? Folks would say like, yo, well, the WNBA doesn't have as many eyeballs on it. They don't generate the revenue. Nobody goes to their games. Nobody watches their games. So therefore, their players are getting what their league is generating revenue wise, right? But what they also would leave out is that for a long time, the WNBA was being subsidized by the NBA, right? By the NBA. The NBA, they were undergirding this league. And what never made sense to me is that, for one, especially when we talk about NBA referees making more money than the top WNBA players, nobody comes to a game to see the fucking referees. Not one person who's ever bought a ticket to anything, anywhere, has bought a ticket to see, hey, man, I really got to see what Steve Javie going to be on tonight, man. Steve Javie, he quick with the T, baby. You know what I'm saying? He quick with the T, man. He might kick that motherfucker out the game, baby. I got to see. Nobody's ever bought a ticket to see none of these motherfuckers, right? But they are buying tickets to see a Caitlin Clark. They are buying tickets to see, at one point, a Cheryl Swoops and a Cynthia Cooper, a Tina Thompson. They were buying tickets to see a Rebecca Lobo or Diana Taurasi. They were buying tickets to see these ladies, but they weren't buying tickets to see these goddamn referees. And yet none of these ladies were making as much money as fucking referees in the NBA, right? So what I believe is going to happen is this. This kind of reminds me, not that I was actually old enough around this. I don't remember this really, but I'm a history buff, right? So I go back and I look at shit, right? What it reminds me a little bit of, the NBA, where the NBA was when it was 25 years old, right? Because we're coming around that time where the WNBA is about to be about 24, 25 years old. I believe the league was started in 1997. But around the time where the NBA was around 24, 25 years old, this was a time where the league was in dire financial straits as well, right? The NBA, their finals were played on tape delay. They didn't even fucking play the NBA finals live, right? You saw the shit later on tape delay. They didn't even, it wasn't good enough for them to play the shit live. You had a lot of players in the league at the time who had drug problems. You had a lot of players in the league who had, they were working, they had second jobs in the off season, man. These motherfuckers were selling cars and shit or selling insurance or whatever in the off season. They weren't making the millions of dollars that these guys are making now, right? And it wasn't until, ironically enough, two college stars came into the league after having had a rivalry in the college game, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson, that the league started getting itself on some pretty good financial footing, where suddenly the networks wanted to play the games. They wanted to play the games live. They wanted to, more networks are starting to pay money into the league for broadcasting rights for the league in order to broadcast these games. I believe CBS was one of the leading broadcasting partners around that time, right? Then, like maybe 4 or 5 years later, you get Michael Jordan comes into the league, and boom, like it just like boom, right? Globalizes the game. Then you got the Dream Team, globalized the game, grew the game to to astronomical heights, to where now they're like it's a multi-billion-dollar entity where like even the like most like milk toast ass nigga that you've never heard of is sitting on the end of the bench is making an average of $6 million a year, right, in the NBA. So, one of the things about this is like it's almost like a mirror sort of image of what happened with the NBA when it comes to the women's game, is that, we now have, a really good white player in Caitlin Clark coming into the NBA, coming into the WNBA with a lot of hype behind her. And then you also have Angel Reese, who's a national champion, much like Magic Johnson was a national champion, who also has a lot of hype behind her coming into the WNBA. And now you have all this attention being shown to the WNBA. It's going to be real interesting to see how that transforms. How does that translate into more eyeballs on the game? If there are more eyeballs on the game, does that translate into more ad revenue? Because everybody wants to throw an ad in our fucking face. Like you can't even get ad-free streaming anymore. Like everybody wants to throw an ad in your face. So now you get more advertising revenue coming in, and then maybe the league becomes a self-sustaining thing as opposed to being a subsidiary of the NBA, and these ladies can make more than the $338,000 that Caitlin Clark is going to make from just playing basketball. Now, here's the other rub. Here's the other thing that that gets lost in this is that, man, she's going to make more money away from the game. She's going to make more money in endorsement deals, right? Much like Michael Jordan when he first came into the league. Most of the money that Michael Jordan made came from outside of the game. They didn't come from his NBA contracts, right? Michael Jordan didn't really cash in on just straight up playing basketball, and probably until his last 2 seasons where he made $33 million per season at the end of his Bulls career, right? So like even Shaquille O'Neal, I remember reading Shaquille O'Neal's autobiography where he talked about he didn't even spend his NBA money, right? Where he was like pretty much banking those checks and spending the money that he had from his endorsements like Reebok, like Nestle and all these other things, right? And we see how Shaq is moving now. Shaq is a serial entrepreneur now. So this is going to be interesting to see how this moves forward. Now, the other part about it is like, we got, again, like this is a discussion that people are just now coming into because, they're now paying attention to the women's game, right? But this is a discussion that's been being had for quite some time. Like I said, you can go back to listen to old episodes of the Beer and Chicken podcast where we were talking about this. And like I said, it makes absolutely no sense to me that there are NBA referees who make more money than WNBA superstars, man. The people that people like pay money to see. Nobody pays money to see a goddamn NBA referee. So, yeah, man, we got that going on. Speaking of the WNBA, though, oh, okay, so I did that wrong. I did that wrong. Let me see if I can edit this here. Yeah, let's do that in real time. Boom. All right, there we go. Now let's show it that way. Okay, so after the after the college national championship, right-wing sports outlet Outkick, they asked Dawn Staley right before the national championship game whether or not trans women should be able to compete in women's sports, right? And Dawn Staley answered the question quite directly, And she said yes, that they should be, right? And here's one of the things that I thought was very interesting. I think this also gets lost, right? And I actually kind of forgot about this, being a former, ball player myself, right? Like even just at high school level, right? But still. But I remember when I was at Olive Harvey Middle College in Chicago, where our ball team, we would practice against the women's college team, right? So, my high school was on a city college campus. And so the city college had, a women's team, they had a men's team, but then because we were the high school, like they would practice against the high school boys team or whatever, right? And so they were practicing against boys, men, however you, wanted to, put it at the time. They were practicing against us. They were competing against us. And that would help them prepare for their games against, whomever their competition was, whether that, of course it was other women, right? But they would always practice against us, right? And, we never really took it easy on them. Shit, actually, as a matter of fact, because they were stepping on the court with us, we was like, man, we got to play these girls. We were trying to, make sure that we never lost because they were girls, right? Like, could you imagine? Of course we like 18, 19, 17 years old. Like, man, we ain't about to lose to these girls, man. Like, that toxic masculinity would kick in, right? So we would always give our best effort because we didn't want to lose to the girls. And so, more often than not, they were giving their best effort because, damn it, they just wanted to prove that they could fucking play. And so, one of the things that I was thinking about was that, like, the University of South Carolina, the practice squad that they were playing against was filled with, young men who went to the University of South Carolina. And those dudes are also going to get national championship rings because they helped prepare those ladies to play at a high level and win a national championship, right? But there's this thing in right-wing media where they are obsessed with the idea of trans women playing in women's sports. And so Outkick, which, like I said, is an outfit I believe is created by Clay Travis, who's a fucking right-wing troll. But Clay Travis's outlet, they asked Dawn Staley about whether or not trans women should be able to play in women's sports. And so I'll get this article. This comes from awfulannouncing.com. It says, hours before the start of Monday's WNBA draft, Outkick founder Clay Travis announced that his outlet has been denied credentials for the event, which is set to take place at the Brooklyn Academy of Music in New York. This seemingly implied that, Travis seemingly implied that the credentials were denied after his outlet had asked whether men should be able to play women's basketball in the lead up to the women's Final Four and national championship game. After Outkick asked Dawn Staley whether men should be able to play women's basketball, the WNBA has refused to credential Outkick for their draft this week. Circling the wagons to make sure men can compete in women's athletics without criticism is legit incredible, but it's where we are. These are tweets that he put out, right? Now, it says, early this month, Outkick's Dan what's this motherfucker's name? Zakshishi? Whoever the fuck he is. Generated headlines when he used the press conference prior to the women's national championship game as a platform to ask South Carolina head coach Dawn Staley and Iowa's Lisa Bluter about transgender women inclusion in sports. Said when Zakishi followed up and broadly asked if transgender women should be allowed to participate in college basketball, Staley answered resoundingly yes. Zakishi was also said to have asked multiple beat writers about South Carolina's national anthem policy, whether they were usually out on the court pregame or not during his time in Cleveland or for the Final Four. He wrote about this credential rejection in Outkick Monday, including the following paragraph under the header, "The media doesn't want to lose access to Caitlin Clark, other female star athletes." But here's the rub, right? As Outkick is out here trying to frame this as though they were being denied a credential because they asked a question about transgender athletes being included in women's sports, what we find out later is that the reason why Outkick didn't get the credentials is because they missed the goddamn deadline to apply for them. Their outrage is totally motherfucking made up. Totally fucking made up, man. Totally fucking made up. And so, again, man, as I've said, I don't know if I've said it here, but I know I've said it on social media, man. When it comes to the idea of trans athletes playing in women's sports, more often than not, the conversation is being generated by people who simply want to activate bigots, man. They don't like, because this isn't the thing that is actually happening on a grand scale. It is not. And they want it in much the same way that it's not happening at a grand scale, that transgender people are going into women's bathrooms and assaulting women in women's bathrooms. It is not happening. But they use these sorts of tactics. They use these sorts of talking points to scare people into believing that it is a bigger issue than it actually is. And more often than not, especially when it comes to transgender athletes competing in women's sports, the vast majority of people, if you asked them who was a transgender athlete competing in women's sports, they could not tell you without Googling the shit. They couldn't tell you. Because it's a completely made up fucking issue, man. Real talk. But we got that going on. Now, one of the things, I'm going to talk about this here, man. Stephen A. Smith, man. Stephen A. Smith. He just stepped in it, man. He just stepped in it.
Makes me sick, motherfucker, how far we done fell.
He just stepped the fuck in it, man. So I was trying to find this video. I thought I had it, but I don't. I was trying to find this video of it by itself because I didn't want to pull up any videos of anybody else critiquing this video. You know what I'm saying? Like but then when I went to go look for whatever reason, the video was like suddenly no longer fucking available anywhere. I went to Fox News to go get the shit. It wasn't available on Fox News. As a matter of fact, they replaced the Sean Hannity and Stephen A. Smith shit with some Clay Travis and Stephen A. Smith shit, which I thought was kind of odd, right? But Stephen A. Smith went on Sean Hannity and talked as if black people are really identifying with Donald Trump because Donald Trump is having legal troubles.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. No wonder you get D's and everything.
Yeah, man. I couldn't believe it. And not that I couldn't believe that Stephen A. Smith would go on a right-wing media outlet because, like, Stephen A. Smith has shown he has a propensity to do this. Like, you know, he has this idea. Stephen A. Smith has this idea that, like, you know, you could be friendly with some of those folks over there and, you know, it doesn't really mean anything. Now, for some, I feel as though for like someone of Stephen A. Smith's stature, that's probably true, right? Because Stephen A. Smith, I mean, I kind of feel like he's got fuck you money, right, at this point. Stephen A. Smith probably feels like he has fuck you money at this point. He gonna be all right. But for the rhetoric that a lot of these dudes he's calling friends actually out here are advocating for and putting people in position to actually execute on, yo, man, the rest of us aren't going to be okay, right? And so for Stephen A. Smith to get on Sean Hannity and say some of the bullshit that he did, I was actually a little shocked because I'm like, I can't believe this nigga is falling for this, right? But I'm gonna pull this video up. This actually is this comes from Roland Martin, but I'm not gonna even play Roland Martin's commentary because, again, like I said, I didn't want to get this shit from nobody else critiquing this. But this is the only, like, it was either this or some right wing motherfucker, and, like, you know, they want to stop it every 10 seconds or whatever. Although I'm gonna stop it too, right? But I wanted to be like, you know, I wanted it to be clean. I couldn't find a clean video, but I'm gonna pull this up from Roland Martin, and then we gonna talk about what the fuck Stephen A. Smith was on Sean Hannity's show saying, because I really couldn't believe what the fuck I was hearing
today here.
But hold on a second while I pull this up for you guys so you can watch this right along with your boy. Boom, and boom. All right, let's go ahead and maximize that, and I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. All right, let's see what we're talking about.
A clip from my next guest who has a message for the Democratic Party. Here's a reminder.
It's much ado about nothing. To my liberal friends out there, all you're doing is showing that you're scared you can't beat them on the issues and the merits.
Here now with more. ESPN host, the one, the only. He hates to admit he's a friend of mine. You can admit it. Just say it.
My friend.
I mean, if anybody had any motherfucking sense, they wouldn't be claiming you as they homie either. I'm just saying, like, come on, man. Come on, bro.
Friend Stephen A. Smith is here.
Of course we're friends, man.
Anyway, great to have you. I thought that was gutsy. I kind of like your podcast because you go off into, other topics besides the area of expertise that you're in, which is sports. You said that. First, the question I have is, what was the reaction to that?
Obviously, I took a lot of heat. A lot of people didn't like the fact that I said it. They wish that I had it. And when I give a damn, I'll let you know. I don't care.
Which is bullshit, by the way, because he's like, since he's put this out, he's had to put out another video to respond to the response that he got from that shit or from being on here. So if you didn't give a damn, Stephen A., you wouldn't be responding to the people who are responding to you. You do give a damn, right? Especially when it's some prominent motherfuckers like, hey man, what the fuck is you doing? The fuck are you talking about? You was out here on some bogus shit. But yeah, he does give a shit. No, that's one thing, man. That's one thing is a lot of people who, when we're, and I get it when you are someone who is, I'm in the same position to a much smaller degree. But when you're out here, just like, freely expressing your opinion for the world to, take in, dissect and digest and everything else. Yeah, there are going to be some people who disagree with you, and there are going to be some people who demonstrably disagree with you. And, to some degree, there are going to be some folks who, you don't give a fuck what they say, right? Because you don't respect them as people. You don't respect them because you don't respect their intellect. But then there are going to also be some people who are going to be coming at you like shit. Maybe I am on the wrong track of shit right now. If these people are coming at me too. Right? Because sometimes it'll be people that you respect that are going to be coming at you like, yeah, man, you was wrong on that shit. You was wrong on that. So, yeah, he'll probably say, yeah, it's a bunch of people coming at me. I'll let you know when I give a damn and all that. But mostly when people say that, it's like, yeah, those are the people that I don't give a fuck about. Those are the people whose opinion I don't respect and everything else, right? So, yeah. But there are people who got to him because he damn sure had to respond to this shit here.
I'm going to speak my mind. I'm going to speak what I believe to be true. And when I think about Donald Trump, I think about this case in New York. I mean, I'm looking at the Democrats right now. And again, primarily, I have voted Democrat throughout my life, but I'm utterly disgusted with what I'm seeing because it seems to me that they're trying to use the law in the courts. They've clearly politicized this thing with Donald Trump because they can't come up with a strategy to offset the momentum he's clearly gained. In at least 5 polls, he's up. He's up in the polls over Biden in at least 5 polls that I counted. That's the reality of the situation. Despite the counts against them, the indictments against them, being impeached twice and all of this other stuff, he is the presumptive GOP nominee. And you don't seem to have the issues in your favor, you believe. So because of that, you're going to manipulate the system as best as you possibly can to avoid him possibly running for re-election again. That appears to be their strategy, but I'm here to tell you, it's not working. It's not working at all. And to be quite honest with you, I don't mind the fact that it's not working because I might not be a supporter of Donald Trump, but I want him to lose the right way. I want him to lose because you have better ideas and you make your case to the American people better than he does. That's why I want him to lose. I don't want him to lose the way they're trying to make him lose because I actually think that the case in New York City is pretty weak, if not flat out bogus. You remember John Edwards? If you remember Gary Hart?
Okay, I'm going to stop it right here though, right? So Stephen A. Smith just said, I want him to lose the right way. I want him to lose on the issues. I don't want him to lose because he's got these cases going on in all these courts and they're using the legal system in order to beat him, right? This is why for as loquacious as fucking Stephen A. Smith can be, for as large as Stephen A. Smith's fucking vocabulary is, this motherfucker doesn't have a lick of political sense at all, right? Now let's run this back. Every last case that Donald Trump has before him, he has 4 different cases. He has 4 different trials that he has potentially coming up, right? You've got this case with what they would call the hush money case, which is where he allegedly had his lawyer pay what's her name? Stormy Daniels had his lawyer Cohen pay Stormy Daniels $130,000 to keep quiet about an affair that he had with her before the presidential election, right? This happened right after the Planet Hollywood tape comes out, where he's on tape telling Billy Bush that he grabs women by the pussy, and when you're a star, they let you do it, right? Now, this is what they essentially would call an election interference case, because he's essentially trying to shut down a story that he doesn't want to come out before the election, because when that came out, that was earth-shattering. Like, they were like, yo, his campaign is over with, right? His campaign is over. Like even the evangelicals was running away from Donald Trump at that time. So if they would have had that Donald Trump was also cheating on his wife and having sex with porn stars after his wife just had a baby, like they'd really like even though he didn't even win the popular vote at that time, there was no way in hell he was going to probably win Michigan or Pennsylvania at that time if those folks had known what they know now. Right now, a lot of those folks now, a lot of those evangelical and right wing sort of voters would probably make an excuse for him now. But back then, he didn't have that hold on them that he has now. Right. That's number one. Number two, every last case that Donald Trump has before him are crimes that we watch this motherfucker do right in front of us, bro. Right in front of us. The January 6th shit happened right in front of us. The stolen document shit, they had been asking this motherfucker, hey man, you got these documents, bro. You need to send them documents back. Oh no. See, I ain't got them. I ain't even got them. I gave y'all everything back. Yeah. But there's some stuff that you ain't gave us back that we know you got, and you need to give us that stuff back. Oh, see, what had happened was I had declassified those, and so because I had declassified those kind of like mine and shit, so I ain't really got to send them back to you. Like, well, you're not president no more, so you couldn't have declassified them, so we gonna need that back. But nah, see, you got some of my personal stuff in there, man, so that stuff is mine. I ain't got to get that. Nah, but we really need that back. That's actually not your property. You need to send us that stuff back. Because that's the American people's property, and we need to put that in the Library of Congress and whatnot. And, we really need this shit back because that's our stuff. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't belong to you. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is got his lawyers and shit lying to the courts. He got them lying to the Department of Justice. Like, we ain't got nothing. We gave all everything back, man. We even signed papers saying we gave y'all everything back. This motherfucker hiding shit in the bathroom. He had shit in the goddamn ballroom. He had shit all over the place. Meanwhile, that's a case he could have just, he ain't had to have. But because he refused to give shit back, that's one charge. That's another charge, right? Another charge. The other case he got in Georgia, where he was on the fucking telephone saying, yeah, man, find me 11,780 votes so I can go ahead and flip this election over on Joe Biden. Because, I won Georgia. We won Georgia by a long shot. And the people in Georgia, Republicans were like, nah, man, you actually didn't win in this state. Joe Biden won in this state. It's unfortunate for you, and we don't want Joe Biden to win either. But damn it, that's what happened. He like, man, go ahead and find me the votes, though, fam. Go ahead and find that, man. You Republicans too, man. What the fuck y'all doing, man? Y'all supposed to be Republicans. Y'all supposed to be helping me out. These are the cases in front of them. Now, the other part that's weird to me with Stephen A. Smith, as he's talking about the Democrats are weaponizing the Justice Department against someone like Donald Trump. This lets you know that most motherfuckers got real short memories, man. Donald Trump started running almost 2 years ago for president of the United States, right? Donald Trump got into the race before anybody else got into the race. And you know why Donald Trump got into the race before anybody else got into the motherfucking race? It's because Donald Trump knew that he had some charges coming. When he got impeached the second time, one of the reasons why the Republicans at the time said that they would vote against the impeachment or convicting him in the impeachment was because we got a criminal justice system, and the criminal justice system will handle this, right? Okay, cool. So since he's no longer president, they can actually go after him legally because he's no longer the president. Donald Trump knew indictments was coming. He knew that years ago because he knew he was out here criming like a motherfucker. Right? So Donald Trump says, fuck it. I'm gonna run for president. And he put his name in the hat early as fuck because he knew that the only shield he probably would have is if he was able to become president again, he wouldn't have to face any of these goddamn charges. Right? Because even as president, what was the Justice Department memo that says you cannot prosecute a sitting president? This is why Donald Trump has been, for the last 2.5 years, trying to push back every fucking trial he's had. Right? He's asking for president. Here's what's wild, man. Here's what's wild. Donald Trump is asking for presidential immunity for things that he did as president, right? He says, I'm no longer the president, but I should be immune for the shit that I did as president, right? But here, check this out, though. If he was to beat Joe Biden, right? If he was to beat Joe Biden and become president again, you think that Donald Trump wouldn't be trying to use that Justice Department against Joe Biden to try to convict Joe Biden of a crime that he has not even been able to define at this moment, right? Because even now, Republicans have been trying to make people think that Joe Biden has some crooked shit going on with his son. For the last 2 years, they've been trying to equivocate between Joe Biden and all the crime that the Trumps have been doing. Meanwhile, what's my man name? Jared Kushner, before they walked away from the fucking White House, walked away with $2 billion from Saudi Arabia. Right? They've been trying to they've been equivocating like a motherfucker to try to make it seem, oh, see, they just as bad as we are, when really they not. They can't even prove it. They're creating stories, bruh. Donald Trump's first impeachment was about him trying to create a story about Joe Biden being dirty. Because he knew he was going to have to run against Joe Biden. He was scared to run against Joe Biden. Right? So the fact that Stephen A. Smith fell for the talking point that the Justice Department is only coming after Donald Trump because they can't beat him at the polls is bullshit. And I can't believe somebody as erudite and loquacious and so ubiquitous in media is falling for this shit. Right? I can't believe this motherfucker is falling for this. And then they go on Fox News and say the shit no less. Because he's gotta know how his words are going to be interpreted over there. Right? But also, here's the thing that I think was the most offensive was Stephen A. Smith's assertion that black people could identify with Donald Trump because Donald Trump was going through legal issues. Let me see if I could find that particular portion of the video because, like I said, I'm getting this from Roland Martin and I don't want to go through any of Roland Martin's commentary. Y'all can watch Roland Martin for his commentary. Let me see if this is the part here. Let's see. Is this it? All right. Let's see what he's saying here.
Also always broken down demographically, and you see this major erosion in the Democratic base for Biden. African Americans, Hispanic Americans, young people, suburban women, for example. I mean, numbers that we've never seen before. In terms of a Democrat. If he doesn't get his base back, which I would argue he's been trying to do, starting with the State of the Union and his jacked up address, he's got no shot. And if Donald Trump could hold on to 5, 10, 15% of the numbers that he has now, he will win the next election.
Now, here's the other thing that I think is funny. They're talking about these polls and whether or not, with Donald Trump being ahead in the polls. And what they have failed to acknowledge is like the shift in the polls since the State of the Union address, but also the fact that, like, let's keep it a buck. Like the Joe Biden campaign hasn't really even started campaigning like that. Like for real. I don't know what they waiting on, but they haven't been really campaigning like that. And the other part is like, and this is the beef that I do have with the Democrats, in that they have been terrible at telling the people what they've done on their behalf and what they plan on doing going forward. Right. Part of the reason why I think that the polls are as close as they are is two things. One, most people aren't like political junkies. Like I'm a political junkie. I pay attention to politics all the time, right? Most people aren't, and that's okay. Most people aren't, but still. The second thing is this, is that there are certain things that have happened that some folks just don't know how they happen, right? Because again, they aren't paying attention to the politics like that. So when you have people who believe that the stimulus checks came from Donald Trump as opposed to the democratically controlled House of Representatives who controls the purse, they don't know that. So they think that they think that, like, you have someone like Sexy Red going out here talking about we need Trump back because he was giving us those checks. Excuse me. But she doesn't know that the reason why those checks even came out is because of Democrats, right? That was going to happen, but they don't know that. The other part, man, is like, when you start thinking about student loan forgiveness, that wasn't even one of that wasn't even one of Joe Biden's like campaign promises. But Joe Biden has canceled more student loan debt than any president in the history of this nation. Right, I believe at this point it's like up to like $7.6 billion or something like that. Crazy amount. As a matter of fact, the new plan that the administration is talking about putting forth will allow somebody. It's actually one of those fucking student loan programs that I would actually qualify for to get my shit canceled as well. Like, nigga, I'm telling you, of all the programs they have for student loan forgiveness, I ain't qualified for none of them, nigga. Right? But because I've been out of college for over 20 years now, my student loan has been in repayment for over 20 years now, I would now qualify for student loan forgiveness, right? And like, real talk, I'm not even in the industry that I went to school for. I'm a fucking pipe fitter, bro. Right? I'm a pipe fitter. But I would now qualify for student loan forgiveness if this is actually going through, right? Now, Republicans are out here trying to gut that. Attorney generals, Republican attorneys general from across the country are saying we vow to fight this. The Supreme Court has already gutted one of the initial student loan forgiveness program that the Biden administration has tried to put forward, and he's found workarounds in order to get around that, in order to get up to the $7.6 billion in student loan forgiveness that they've forgiven so far. So, like, even despite the roadblocks being thrown in front of them, they're figuring out ways to pull through for the American people. And so, for a lot of people, they just aren't. They're not aware of some of these things that are happening, right? They're not paying attention at this particular moment. It's still April. A lot of folks, I want to say probably around the conventions is when they really start paying attention to the politics, right? So a lot of folks aren't really like locked in that way. But this idea, and I've had to check myself on this to some degree. I've had to check myself. This idea that black people are overwhelmingly attaching themselves to Donald Trump because of his legal troubles is offensive at best and bigoted and racist at worst. But before I get into that, I want to let Stephen A. Smith say what he had to say.
Why is that happening? That's my question.
Right there. Now, see, right there.
Oh, shit. I don't want. I mean, like, I like Roland, but I'm not trying to hear Roland's part right here. I want the Stephen A's part. Yeah, because see, Roland, he breaking down Poland and all that other shit. Let me. Okay, here we go.
Issues absolutely matter. Press play.
Well, first of all, the streets don't seem safe. And people want safety. We can sit up there.
The streets are safer than they have been in a long time, man. That's the other part, man. Crime has gone down, and it's been going down for a long time. If you can keep people scared, if you can keep people scared, and if you can keep people ignorant, you can you can mold them in any motherfucking way you want. That's real talk, man. If you have a scared and uninformed populace, you can mold them in any way you want. This is why the Republican Party thrives, is because they are constantly scaring their people, and they are constantly feeding their folks misinformation. Their folks are misinformed, and they are scared to fucking death, right? Crime has been going down at a precipitous rate since the 90s, right? Since the 1990s, we had a bit of a spike during COVID, right? But who was president then? Donald Trump. Donald Trump was fucking president then. And the response that we had to the pandemic was piss poor. Why? Because Donald Trump was president then. So, again, he's talking about people want to feel safe. Part of the reason why they don't feel safe is that they're fed misinformation all day long about how unsafe everything is. Right? They're fed all this misinformation about how unsafe it is to go anywhere. Crime ain't happening nowhere near what it was. But if you keep telling people it's criming outside, then goddamn it, guess what? It's criming outside. I mean, shit, I don't know what to do, man. I just stay in the house. I stay out of the way. This is what happens, man.
And lament, quote unquote, law and order, which is what Donald Trump used to verbalize. But the fact is, the American people like law and order. We want our streets safe. We want to make sure that you've committed a crime, you get to go to jail. You don't sit up there and get arrested and you're out the same day. You don't want to assault people and you're out the same day. That's number one. Obviously, number two, the economy, which is usually number one, because people don't understand this when it comes, especially the black folks. Okay, let me tell you something right now, Sean. When you talk about the economy, to black folks, that means money. To everybody, it means money, but especially to us, okay, who are no longer the dominant minority in this country. Those are the Latinos. When we talk about the economy, we're not talking about, the state of affairs economically or even the job participation rate. We're talking about the money that you keep in your pocket. When you go to the gas station and it's exorbitant prices, when you go to the supermarket and milk and bread and cheese and all of this other stuff is exorbitantly high compared to what it once was, that is a red flag to a lot of folks because
Right there.
Okay. I guess me and Roland had the same idea, but here's something I've been thinking about for a little while. When it comes to like the cost of goods and services and whatnot, and we've been talking about inflation and inflation is very much a thing, but I think what we tend to leave out in these discussions is the corporate greed, right? When like. At a certain point, there was this thing where like the supply chains were all fucked up. You couldn't get certain things at in a reasonable time at a reasonable price and everything else. We're 4 years removed from a lot of that, right? And the inflation rate has been coming down slowly over the course of the last 4 years, right? But also, there's two things when it comes to the inflation thing. One of them I don't think people really want to hear. And that's those stimulus checks, right? For as much as the stimulus checks helped a shit ton of folk, right? People needed that money. They needed that help. They needed that assistance. I ain't even mad at it, right? Give the people the help that they need. But when you flood the economy with that kind of money, you devalue the value of the currency, right? So now it's going to take more of that currency to buy the same goods. You're going to spend more of the same money to get that good. It's going to cost you a little bit more because the currency is now not worth as much as it was before we flooded the market with all this currency, all this money, right? So you got that going on. But the second part of it is that there's a lot of companies who saw this as an opportunity to price gouge. And they're still price gouging. And the reason why they were able to get away with the price gouging for so long has been this. They could just blame it on the inflation. Right? So now, but the weird part is they're blaming it on the inflation, but at the same time, a lot of these companies are making record motherfucking profits. So when you're wondering why things are still costing as much as they do, when you be like, man, why is a motherfucking gallon of milk $5, bro? And you really should be looking at, hey man, why is Borden charging us $5 for this motherfucking gallon of milk, bro? Like, does it really cost them $5 to not only just produce the milk, but like to pasteurize the milk and to transport the milk and all this? Is it really costing them that much to do that for this gallon of milk? Or are they also one of those companies who are, you know, getting record profits right now? Is the CEO getting a bonus this motherfucking month? Because a lot of these companies are responsible for why these prices are the way that they are. It's not even the inflation rate to a large degree. These companies have used the inflation rate to camouflage them price gouging the fuck out of everybody. But they're not talking about that. They're not talking about that. What we're talking about is the inflation rate. And the inflation rate has been coming down precipitously for the last 4 fucking years, man. Meanwhile, Stephen A. Smith goes on Fox News and say, well, I'm gonna tell you what the black people is thinking, and he gives them this shit. Shucking and jiving, man. Shucking and motherfucking jiving, bro. Let's see what else this motherfucker's talking about, though.
Money you keep in your pocket is what tells you whether or not the economy is flourishing or not. So those are just a couple of components that come into the equation. And dare I say something that will probably be termed the most uncomfortable thing that I've ever had to articulate out of my mouth from a political perspective. But I got to tell you something. As much as people may have been abhorred by Donald Trump's statement weeks ago, talking about how black folks, he's hearing that black folks find him relatable because what he's going through is similar to what black Americans have gone through. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. When you see the law enforcement, the court system, and everything else being exercised.
Stop. Hold on.
All right. Like I said, I don't really want Roland's commentary. But I'll say this. Donald Trump has been getting away with a lot of shit for a long time. Donald Trump has committed crimes in front of every motherfucking body's face. Donald Trump has gotten away with shit in a courtroom that had that been you or I, we'd already be behind motherfucking bars. The idea that black people can identify with Donald Trump because Donald Trump is having issues with the legal system. A legal system which, by the way, has been bending over backwards to give him every motherfucking deference whatsoever. The idea to equate him with black people, nigga, just
Nigga, please.
I couldn't believe this nigga had the audacity to take his punk ass up on Fox News and say some bullshit like that. Donald Trump, had he been black, would be under the fucking jail already. Already. We wouldn't even be having this discussion. Could you imagine if Barack Obama was on trial for having stepped outside his marriage with Michelle and was messing around with, I don't know, Cherokee the ass? You know what I'm saying? Hey, Cherokee the ass got some hush money because she was fucking with Barack Obama. Niggas would have been like, hey man, you can't be out here you can't be fucking around on the queen, man. You out of pocket, Barack. Like, what the fuck was you thinking about? Niggas would have gave up on Barack Obama. Barack Obama wouldn't even be able to run for fucking president. Barack Obama would, they're like, hey man, we got to find another nominee, man. This ain't happening. This motherfucker's good. He damaged goods. Meanwhile, Donald Trump got 4 fucking felony trials pending right now. Is the GOP nominee for fucking president. And Stephen A. Smith is on fucking Fox News talking about how black people can identify with Donald Trump for having fucking legal issues. Nigga, fuck you, bro. Fuck you. Like, sincerely, from the bottom of my balls, nigga, fuck you. I couldn't believe this nigga said that shit. I'm like, are you out of your rabbit ass mind? I couldn't believe this nigga said this shit, man. I couldn't believe it. Like I said, he had the temerity and the unmitigated gall, as he would say on motherfucking first. He had the unmitigated gall to suggest that Donald Trump is being motherfucking victimized by the Justice Department. Meanwhile, Donald Trump been out here criming in front of everybody, in front of all of our fucking faces for the last fucking 4 years. Fuck you, man. Fuck you. But I couldn't believe this shit, man. Wait, this nigga, wait, you gotta hear this. You gotta do it again. You gotta do it again.
But I gotta tell you something. As much as people may have been abhorred by Donald Trump's statement weeks ago, talking about how black folks, he's hearing that black folks find him relatable because what he's going through is similar to what black Americans have gone through, he wasn't lying.
Nigga, stop. Nigga, stop. Like, God damn, man. I couldn't believe this nigga said that silly shit, man. I really couldn't. But yeah, man. Like I said, this is I got this from Roland Martin or whatever. So you know, I couldn't really go through this the way in which I really wanted to because I could not find this actual video. Like again, the actual video for whatever reason is not available anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like I was looking up on YouTube, I was looking up on Fox News. They ain't got that shit nowhere. So it is what it is. But yeah, Stephen A. Smith out here shucking and jiving on Fox News. I couldn't fucking believe this guy. Couldn't fucking believe him. And like I said, man, he's saying he don't give a fuck about what people say about it. But trust and believe, he gives a damn because he had to respond to the shit a couple of days ago, if not yesterday or something like that. He went on this podcast and he responded to it. So yeah, he gives a damn what people think. But you got that going on, man. Real talk. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Let me go ahead and do this. We got this other story here real quick. I'm gonna go real quick on this. But in Arizona, you know, they took the video down. Ain't that about a bitch? Okay. Wait. Oh, no, I'm not going to disable my motherfucking ad blocker. Fuck you. No, but so we do have the video. Cool. But in Arizona, they are, of course, you know, you guys know that, if you don't know, in Arizona, they have curtailed women's right to an abortion in Arizona. As a matter of fact, the Supreme Court in Arizona reverted their laws back to 1864, I believe it was, before Arizona was even a state, to say that a woman had no right to an abortion, except I don't even think they have an exception for the life of the mother, right? And so, let's see, of course, you know, people in Arizona were thinking of ways to try to, you know, to remedy this situation. And what has been happening across the country is, and we've had this thing happen here in Michigan where there have been, ballot drives, right? Where they're like, yo, man, we're going to make an amendment to the Constitution where we can enshrine this right into our state constitution. And if we can enshrine the right into the state constitution, then we will go back to something similar to what it was like before they overturned Roe versus Wade, right? But Republicans, because Republicans, I believe, like here's what Republicans are doing. What they're trying to do is they're trying to undermine the voters before they even put the ballot initiatives up on the ballot, right? So here's the rub, though. These stupid motherfuckers. They accidentally leaked their goddamn plans before they actually implemented, man.
I'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
So let me pull this video up so you guys can watch right along with me. We get this here from, this is Channel 12 News here in Arizona. I believe that's their NBC affiliate. So let's see what let's see what they're talking about here in Arizona.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to 12 News at 6. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Kadiba Devine. New tonight, a leaked document reveals how Republican lawmakers in Arizona might respond to a looming statewide ban on abortion. 12 News journalist Bram Resnick is here joining us now.
Yeah, thanks, Tram. A repeal of the 1864 ban could be off the table when the House of Representatives meets again on Wednesday. In its place, Republicans are weighing at least 3 options. All of them would undercut the planned statewide vote in November on protecting abortion rights. Chaos in the House of Representatives last week. The Republican-led chamber blocked a repeal of the 160-year-old abortion ban that the state Supreme Court upheld the day before.
All in favor of that motion, vote aye. Aye. All opposed, vote no. Ayes have it, so ordered.
Republicans appear better prepared for the next abortion debate, expected Wednesday. The GOP plan is contained in this 24-slide PowerPoint, legislative strategies for regulating abortion amidst a radical ballot initiative and court chaos. The plan is to attack the Arizona Abortion Access Act. That's the ballot initiative that would protect abortion rights in the state constitution. The top proposal is for a competing ballot initiative titled the Arizona Abortion Protection Act.
So essentially what they're trying to do is they want to confuse the voters into voting for something against what they want to vote for. Right? This is one of their tactics. They want to confuse people by naming their ballot initiative something similar, but is actually against what the people would be actually voting for.
Kind of similar to the existing initiative. But the Republican initiative would enshrine the legislature's authority to regulate abortion in the state constitution.
They're just trying to.
And so with that particular maneuver, the legislature would have power over. It's essentially saying, yeah, fuck what the people want. The legislature will decide what the people will have. Despite the fact that the people are saying we want this, the legislature will decide, nah, we're gonna give you this. It's much as it's similar to the way in which gerrymandering works, right? In which with gerrymandering, the politicians tend to pick their voters as opposed to the voters picking who actually wins the seat, right? So they will gerrymander a district in a way where they can kind of pick, oh, well, I know I'm going to have a big swath of Republican voters over here, so we're going to make sure we get all of our voters over here. And then if we do get some Democrats, we're going to have a little bit of Democrats, but they ain't going to have as much, they're not going to have as much of power in this particular district because we've carved this district to where we get more, we get more Republican voters in this district as opposed to Democratic voters in this district. So they pick their voters as opposed to the other way around where the voters are picking who represents them, right? So what they're trying to do is to undermine the people's choice in the matter. In both of these instances, they're trying to undermine the people's choice. Let's confuse the people by naming our ballot initiative something similar to the ballot initiative that would protect abortion rights. And if people get confused, they vote for our thing and then they don't get the abortion rights that they want. But then if we put it in the law to where if they do get the abortion rights that they want, then we can say well, now us as a legislature get to choose which part of that we actually want to enforce and which ones we don't. Right? They are totally trying to usurp the authority of the people who put them in office in the first fucking place. Again, I say this, and every time I hear people on any sort of platform, whether it be on social media, whether it be on news or anything else, anytime someone suggests to you that Republicans represent 50% of the population, smack them in the fucking face, right? Smacking them in the face because it's not true. They represent a minority in this country, man. And the reason why they're pulling out all these sorts of tricks, all these sorts of shenanigans is because they know that their position is the minority position. And because they know their position is the minority position, they're trying to exert that minority position and mandate that as if they have authority over the majority with that position that they're trying to exert on the rest of us. It's bullshit. People need to pay attention. I keep saying this. There's a lot of people who are whistling past the graveyard.
To eke out a position somewhere that will confuse Arizona voters.
Chris Love is spokeswoman for Arizona for Abortion Access. The initiative organizer has gathered more than 500,000 signatures to get on the ballot, far more than the 380,000 required.
Do they want a complete ban from 1864 to be the law in 2024? And I would say, yes, they absolutely do.
None of the House proposals would repeal the Civil War era near total ban on abortion. That law could take effect as soon as mid-June.
Republican House Speaker Ben Toma doesn't support repealing the ban. He said the new plan presents ideas drafted for internal discussion and consideration within the caucus. We're looking at options to address the subject, and this is simply part of that.
So there could be...
Yeah, that's all bullshit. That's all bullshit. These folks do not want women to have access to their own bodies. And like the weirdest thing about all of this, and this is why, again, why the Stephen A shit was so fucking appalling and so out of touch, man. It's like at every turn, man, when you think about the things that the people want, Republicans are finding themselves on the wrong end of so many things that the vast majority of the people want. And so what I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. Sometimes I get a little like frustrated. Like looking at some of the polls, and you see some of the polls and you be like, yo, and they're so close, especially when like we start talking about like the presidential election and stuff like that, and why the polls are so close. It's like you got one motherfucker who is like this is that thing when I say the short memories that so many people have. Like folks forgot. Like we lost a lot of folks in 2020. That we had people. They were losing so many people that they were keeping folks in, not even in the morgue. They were keeping them in fucking truck trailers, frozen, like refrigerated trailers and shit, because they didn't have anywhere to put them. That when you did go to a funeral for your loved one, that there could only be but so many people there, and y'all couldn't sit but so many people, like so many feet with close to one another. That a lot of people couldn't even attend those funerals, and so you had to watch the shit on Zoom, or you had to watch the shit on Facebook or something like that. Like I lost my grandmother in 2020, and she didn't die of COVID, but like I just remember like being at that funeral and being pissed off because my grandmother deserves so much more than the send off that she got, and she couldn't get that because of our response to COVID at that time. I lost like 3 people in 2020. There was a lot of people who lost their jobs in 2020. There was a lot of people who, like, my daughter didn't get a chance to go to prom in 2020. She graduated high school in 2020. And we had to have hers like outside, and then like, there was so many restrictions and all that other shit. I think about things like that. And like, I guess to me, just the COVID response alone, like I get frustrated in how we like are looking at that, and then like that's not even to count the January 6th shit, and that's not to even count the fucking like the George Floyd shit. Like people have really motherfucking forgot how bad shit was when that guy was president, man. People really have fucking forgot. And so, yeah, man, like to see the like the numbers be as close as they are, even now, it's like, man, like this guy's like facing 4 fucking felony trials, and people are like, yeah, but we got them checks, nigga. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But let's get off of this heavy shit, man. We've been talking about some heavy shit for a little while, and I want to get out of here talking about some pretty cool shit. Some pretty cool shit. So, my Detroit Lions, man. We had a pretty good year last year, man. I'm still salty that we didn't get to the Super Bowl, man. I'm still salty that Dan Campbell didn't kick at least one motherfucking field goal, man. It's like, bruh, take the points, man. What the fuck are you doing? Right? Take the fucking points, man. What the fuck are you doing? Still mad at that. I didn't even watch the Super Bowl, man. I couldn't watch the Super Bowl because of like I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Right? But the Lions, they had a really good year. And we are slated to be one of the better teams going into the next season. And the NFL draft is coming into Detroit this week, as a matter of fact, right? But for the last 2 years, though, the Detroit Lions have been teasing. They're like, yo, man, we're going to get some new uniforms, right? We're going to get some new unis. And they finally unveiled their new uniforms, man. And so, yeah, we gonna judge these new unis, man. Like I said, we've been responding to shit. We responded to rap beef, nigga. We gonna respond to these goddamn uniforms too, right? So let me pull this up, so I can share this here with you guys, and you guys can watch right along with me, man, as we take a look at these new Detroit Lions uniforms, man. And let's see what we got going on here, man. Let me go ahead and play that. Maximize that. I be goddamn. Now you ain't buffering now, motherfucker. Ain't that a bitch? But first things first, man. First thing I thought about when I saw these, right? When I saw these, for those of you who are not watching this, these uniforms look like some of the uniforms from the 1990s, right? Which, okay, fine, cool, whatever. I felt like they could have kept these. Like, real talk. I felt like these blue ones, they could have fucking kept. I'm like, bruh, don't tease new uniforms for 2 years, bruh, and this all we get. Now, I recognize that I am of a minority with this, right? I remember a time, man, when motherfuckers came out with new uniforms, they came out with new uniforms, bruh. New uniforms. Like they look completely different than what the fuck you used to get. Like new unis. And yo, to a certain degree, yeah, it's like, yeah, they different from the ones we just had, but it's like going back to the shit that we used to have years ago. You know what I'm saying? They own some, yeah, we're going to pay homage to the past while also looking forward to the future. And it's like, nigga, this is just some shit that we used to have, bro. Like this, I guess, man. I guess. Right? That's my attitude when I seen these. I'm like, I guess, man. I wasn't a fan. Man. I was like, they could have kept these.
This chapter will be defined by a sea of Honolulu blue and silver, the way it was meant to be. Inside a Ford Field that's bursting at the seams, one pride shows up. Inspired by yesterday's heroes.
Yeah, because these definitely look like something that came out of like 1994 to about 1997. These look like the uniforms that they used to have around that time when they was playing at the Pontiac Silverdome, when Barry Sanders was the running back, when Scott Mitchell was the quarterback, when Herman Moore, Brett Perriman, and Johnny Morton was the wide receivers back then. Like, you know, when they had guys like that, when they had Lomas Brown at left tackle, you know, back then, you know what I'm saying? Like this looks like what they used to have back then, you know? And again, some of my favorite teams. But nigga, I seen this before, man. That's the thing that I think pissed me off about this. I'm like, man, I seen this shit before, man. We going back to this. Come on, man. New uniforms mean new, not nigga new from back then. Right?
Send it off to today's.
But it doesn't matter where we suit up. When we punch in, we're going to rep our town.
Okay, so right now they're showing like the white uniforms or whatever, and the white uniforms like are just the same as the fucking blue uniforms, only in the white uniforms it says Detroit, like right above the number or whatever, and I'm like, I guess, man. I guess, man. Like I'm telling you, bro, I was so underwhelmed. I was so fucking like, and here's the rub, right? Because I know I'm in the minority on this, right? I'm in the minority on this. Like, there are so many people in like, you know, they hit this big reveal at Ford Field where the season ticket holders are like, oh my God, man, I couldn't believe it, man. They're so fucking sweet, man. They're so like, bro, these are some plain ass fucking jerseys, bro. Like, I call me a child of the 90s, right? I remember, like, straight up, especially like if you're an NBA fan, right? If you're an NBA fan from like the 1990s and shit, you remember when teams came out with new uniforms back in the 1990s, man? like new uniforms, new logos and shit. These motherfuckers went all out. Like, I remember, I'm not even a Pistons fan, nigga, but like the Pistons went from that red, white, and blue, that plain shit they used to have back in the day, to that teal and that black and that gold and whatnot, with the new logo, with the horse head and the tailpipes and shit. And they had Grant Hill or whatever. They had a whole new court, whole new look. It was a whole new fucking look. And I, like, honestly, as much as, you know, like Pistons fans be acting like they don't really like that look, like, yo, like, that was a fucking come up for them. Like, to be honest with you, like, yo, that was actually some of y'all better motherfucking uniforms, because the ones y'all been having suck. They just plain as shit. You know what I'm saying? But you know, that's the thing. I remember when the Houston Rockets, when they changed from that from the orange and the red and the white, and they went to the navy blue and the silver and the red and stuff, and they had the new rocket and stuff. I mean, the uniforms did kind of suck. Them were some ugly ass uniforms, but them motherfuckers had changed the court and whatnot. Man, they had, like, you know, like the stars and shit, and the starry blue stuff going on with the 3-point line or whatever. Like they went all out, bro. When people came out with new uniforms in the 90s, these motherfuckers went all out. Like, for whatever reason, man, I don't know what it is, and this is going across all the fucking sports, man. Like, the new shit is just going back to the old shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we getting new uniforms. We gonna pull out the shit we had back in 1995. And it's like, for a nigga that's old enough to be there from like 1995, you're like, nigga, for what? Like, nigga, we did this already. We did this already, man. What the fuck, bro? I'm that guy now. I am that guy. I am that fucking guy now. Oh man, we got some comments here in the chat room, man. Horatio writes in, he says they slanted the numbers 2 degrees to the right. That's about all the fuck they did, man. GS28, he writes in to say, he said, yeah, man, same old Lions uni. We like to forget those days. But here's the thing though, right? They weren't that bad in those uniforms, man. I remember, like, especially like the 1995 squad had the #1 offense in the league, man. Had the #1 offense in the league, man. We was moving the ball on everybody. We was scoring points on, like, Herman Moore, Brett Perryman, Johnny Morton, Barry Sanders, Scott Mitchell. Like, we was scoring on every motherfucking body, man. Now, our defense wasn't worth a damn, and which has been like the Achilles heel of the Detroit Lions for a long time. The defense, we could put points up on you, but we couldn't stop no fucking body, man. That's part of the reason why we couldn't beat the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs. We couldn't stop no fucking body. But yeah, man. Yeah, these unis, man, I was like, man, I was like, they could have kept this shit.
There's no doubt. This city is who we are and what we play for. It's Detroit versus everybody.
Hold on, but a man had FOH on his fucking on his thigh pads, right? And I'm like, is he saying fuck out of here? is Amon-Ra St. Brown saying fuck out of here? With the uniform, did he get that pass? Did he get that pass like the sisters and shit? Because I saw like FOH, nigga, fuck out of here. Because that's the only FOH I recognize this. That's the only one I recognize. Fuck out of here. And that's how I felt about the uniforms, man. Fuck out of here with this shit, man. These are old, bro. These are old. Let's see. GS got some more shit to say here in the chat, man. Let's see. GS says, what we got here? He says they trifling with Avon Barksdale. They trifling with Avon Barksdale's reputation, looking like the Falcons with these bland ass uniforms. Hey, real talk. I'm gonna tell you who else got some bland ass fucking new uniforms. The New York Jets, man. The New York Jets. They new uniforms look plain as shit. And I'm trying to understand, man. Like, why the new uniforms look so fucking plain? Why the new unis look so fucking plain? Why is, oh man, these look clean, man. These look sleek. Nah, nigga, they look plain, bro. They don't look like y'all did shit. They look like y'all did the bare fucking minimum with these uniforms, man. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it, man. And I don't mean you got to do some garish shit. I'm just saying, if you're going to do something different, man. Don't do some shit we done seen before. Do something different. You know? Come on, man.
In every stadium, every game, every snap.
Now this shit buffering again. Ain't that a bitch? All right, I'm gonna move this along though, because we've seen the whites and the blues, man. But The ones that they did come out with that I was actually like okay with, were these, man. Like if this shit ever fucking loads up, because now this shit buffering for whatever reason. But come on, don't do me like this, Comcast, man. We've been moving pretty swimmingly now here, and now here you go with the bullshit. Here you go with the bullshit. All right. Let me do this here. I'm about to sacrifice my lights. Let's do this. Bam. And bam. All right. Hopefully that helped. I didn't realize I wasn't fucking wired in until about 5 minutes ago. But all right, let's see. There we go.
The NFC North, the black and blue division.
Now, hold on now. Like these though, I fucks with these, right? I fucks with these though. Like the all black. I've always wanted the Lions to have an all black uniform. I remember back in the day they had the black jersey, but they never had black pants, man. They never had a straight up blackout uniform. I love the fact that they finally said fuck it and went straight up. We gonna black out a whole fucking uniform, bro. I love this. I feel like this, man. Maybe this is just me. I feel like every professional sports team should have at least one black uniform. Every last one of them. And the reason why I say that is because no matter what your team colors are, right? Even if you only, use the black uniforms on a special occasion, no matter what your team colors are, they gonna pop like a motherfucker off of that black. If you have a black uni, no matter what colors your team has, they gonna pop off that black, man. They gonna stand out, right? So if you got, like, say for instance, I'm not even a New York Knicks fan, right? But if you're a New York Knicks, like, if you're the New York Knicks and you got a black uniform, you don't think that blue, white, and orange gonna pop off of that black and stand out? I think the Mets did some shit like that years ago. They had a black uniform, right? Well, I think their colors the same as the Knicks, where they had a black uniform, they had a black jersey, and they had the blue and the white and the orange and shit off of the Mets. That shit was popping. I'm not even a New York fan, nigga, but I'd rock that Mets jersey, nigga, straight up. Like I got like, and here's the other part, man. People were talking about this jersey looks a lot like the Carolina Panthers jersey, and I think this is because they both have blue and black as part of their color scheme. I have a black Carolina Panthers jersey. These aren't the same. These are not the same, man. Like the Panthers jersey has white numbers. They have a blue collar. The shoulder stripes are in totally different orientations, man. They are not the fucking same. If you don't know what you're talking about, just say so. If you talk about they look the same, these look like Panthers jerseys. They do not. They do not. I like these. If I'm going to buy a new jersey, if I'm going to buy a new Lions jersey, it will be this one. It will not be that plain ass white one. It will not be that plain ass blue one that we had in 1995, man. I will get this one because this one is one that we haven't had, right? But also, I've noticed how a lot of our Caucasian brothers are not really fans of black isn't really a team color, Black doesn't have to be a fucking team color. Black is a color is a primary color. Every team if they got a white uniform, they should have a black one. Every fucking team should have a black one. Let's see. Horatio got something to say here in the chat. What you talking about, man? And he says the Knicks have an all black. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I mean, I hate the Knicks, but that's what's up. I'm just saying, I feel like every team should have one, man. Like, even if you only wear sparingly, every team should have a black uni, man. Like, have a blackout night or some shit like that, man. Even, I remember, I'm not, what's that? Michigan State, right? I'm a University of Michigan fan, right? But I'm not going to lie to you. Michigan State got some bomb ass black uniforms, bro. And if I was a State fan, I would definitely rock one. That's the truth. Michigan State got some bomb ass black unis. I feel like every team should have a black uni, man. No matter what your team colors are, your team colors will pop off of that black, man. But yeah, so the Lions came out with the black uni, and I fuck with it.
4-story teams contending to be.
All right. This shit gonna be buffering or whatever. But y'all see the black unis. I like the black unis. But them the only ones. The only ones that I like that the Lions came out with. They came out with their black ones. The New York Jets, they just came out with some new uniforms as well. They have a black uniform. I like that New York Jets black uniform. The green one and the white one, I feel like, nigga, they had those before. I just feel like they had those before. They plain as shit. So we got that going on, man. Real talk. Now, another thing we got going on here, and I'm like I said, we ended this on some fun shit, man, because we've been talking about some heavy shit for most of the show. But this is also some Detroit related shit too, right? So the NFL draft is going to be here in Detroit. Starts Thursday, right? They've been preparing for the NFL draft for the past 2 years, right? And one of the things that they did was they decided that they were going to create a sign for visitors coming in and visiting the city of Detroit. They were going to have a sign for the folks to welcome them into the city, right? Now, for those of you who are not familiar, if you were to fly into the city of Detroit, you will be flying into the Detroit Metropolitan Airport, which is not in Detroit, right? It is in Romulus. That shit is not in Detroit. It is in Romulus. So you would 9 times out of 10 to get to the city be driving on I-94 to get into the city, right? So if you're going downtown from the airport, drive up I-94 going into the city. And so the city decided, hey man, how about we have a sign to welcome people into the city? Let them know they are in Detroit, right? And they came up with this idea where they were like, yo, they announced this thing where they was like, yo, we're going to have a Hollywood style sign, right? We're going to have a Hollywood style sign in order to welcome people, to let them know they in the city of Detroit, right? That's what he fucked up. That's what he fucked up, because the city said it was going to be a Hollywood style sign. And so when people think Hollywood, they think about that freestanding sign out there in Hollywood with the letters and whatnot. And they think about it being high up on a hill and all these other things, right? People had that idea in their minds. As a matter of fact, someone came up with an AI image. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can pull up this image here. Because this is what people had. Well, no, that's not it. Let me see if I can do this. Where is it? I had it. I thought I had it pulled up. Okay. Well, no, this isn't a good example of it. It's not a good example of it. Where is it? I know I had it. And now I can't fucking find it to save my life. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna pull this up so you guys can see this. It's not a real good example, but it's as close as I can get to you guys being able to see it. So, all right. This is what we're talking about here, right? Yeah. So people thought that we were going to have a big ass sign like this on the side of the highway, and that's what it was going to be, right? This picture went viral. Now, mind you, this picture here on the left was AI. This picture here on the left was also not sanctioned by the city. So, but this picture is what people were expecting. Never mind that they said the sign was only going to be 10 feet tall. Never mind the fact that they said this was going to be on the southwest side of Detroit, on the side of the highway. This is what people had their idea. So when the actual Detroit sign was put up, people was pissed. Right? A lot of people was pissed. Now think back to when I was talking to y'all a couple weeks ago when we were talking about like AI, right? And how people, if you wait, did I show y'all this? Shit, fuck. I can't even remember if okay, so I couldn't tell if y'all saw this, but this is what people on the left thought we were gonna get. This is what we got on the right. Okay. People were pissed because they thought we were going to have this huge ass sign on the side of the highway. And it wasn't what they thought it was going to be because they saw this AI image that wasn't sanctioned by the city. And that's what they thought. And a couple weeks ago, we were talking about AI images and how AI images are fooling people. And if you're not online a lot, you could easily be fooled by like, not even just like AI images of people, but of other things too, right? Apparently a sign of Detroit, right? But this AI image went viral so hard that like expectations for the sign were way too fucking high, right? So much so that Detroit rapper, Detroit like Jewel, man, like the dude he's a symbol for the city, man. G-Mac Cash came out with some diss records. He came out with some, I say some as in the motherfucker made more than one. He made more than one, man. He came out with some diss songs for the sign, for the Detroit sign that are going to be welcoming people for the NBA, the NFL draft. And so let me pull this up so you guys can watch this video because it's funny, but at the same time it's like, damn, man, y'all kind of tripping. But let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me here. Here we go. Let's see what G-Mac Cash got to say about this damn Detroit sign, y'all.
Detroit, I know you fucking lying. It look like they got these fucking letters from Toys R Us, bro. That Detroit sign look inflatable. Detroit.
One thing I'ma do, I'ma state the fact. This ain't the sign that we ordered, you can take it back. Now here we go, thinking we about to get some shit. Now they done order us a sign off fucking Wish. Now I was looking at this shit, I was like, dang. You probably not gonna see this shit when you on the plane. All I wanna know how much we paid for this. How much? Real talk, man, shit, I could've made this shit. I thought our sign was gonna look like Hollywood. That's probably why they put this bitch right by the hood. Thought we was about to get some shit, they really just hold us. Then gave us a sign in Times New Roman. They put the green in the shit, they thought it was cool. And this some shit you would see up in front of the school. Like, goddamn, man, we should've got the other kind. Man, the city about to put in on another sign. And we just keeping it real, we ain't never hating. I think I seen a bigger sign at a graduation. Hey, man, we must've got these letters on a discount. When wind blow too hard, fuck around and knock this shit down.
All right, so yeah. He was talking about the colors, but like real talk, green is like the color of the Spirit of Detroit statue downtown, and they like the city has really leaned into the color, green as being a city color or whatever. So that's part of the reason why they went with that. But also, man, a lot of the hate for the sign has been like before they even like finished putting the motherfucker up. You know what I'm saying? Like they done put lights in that bitch. They done put some landscaping around this motherfucker. They got the flowers there. And this is the thing I was telling folks, when they was putting the sign up, I was like, yo, man, y'all gotta let Miss Mabel and the beautifying committee from the church get over there and do their thing, man. Y'all judging this shit too early, man. You seeing the concrete blocks that that the sign is standing up on? Nah, man, they gonna cover that shit up, man. They gonna put some petunias and shit over there, man. They gonna put some new grass and shit over there by there, man. It's gonna look nice, bruh. It's gonna look nice. And then they put the lights in the shit, you know what I'm saying? So it's lit up at night, you know what I'm saying? Not only that, I'm gonna need niggas to stop acting like y'all ain't used to the idea of when you having company over, you clean up the crib a little bit, right? Everybody knows. Everybody's familiar with this. Black families, I know we familiar with this. You about to have some folks over, man, the family coming through or whatever. You gonna have something at the house. Y'all cleaning up, man. Y'all making sure the house look nice, man. You don't want nobody coming over your house and they don't feel comfortable or nothing like that. Hey, man, y'all cleaning up. Y'all straighten y'all shit the fuck up when people coming through the crib, right? That's what the city doing. They cleaning the fuck up. And the weird part about it is that like you got so many people who are upset that the city is cleaning up because we have a company, man. Like we about to have company to the tune of about at least 350,000 new motherfuckers who probably ain't, who don't live here, nigga. At least 350,000 new motherfuckers gonna be walking around in the city of Detroit, man, for this NFL draft. And like I'm trying not to like knock y'all, especially the way like I was knocking like the jerseys and shit. But I'm like, yo, man, y'all kind of tripping, bro. Like, man, they putting all this new shit up, man. What about my? Ain't nobody coming by your hood, bro. That's why they ain't did nothing over there. Ain't nobody coming over there. They gonna be downtown. They gonna be on these highways, bro. They cleaning up where the people gonna be at. Now, if you like, here's the other part that I think is that gets lost too. Y'all could clean up around y'all place too, though. You ain't gotta wait for the city to do a goddamn thing. You could actually get out there and like do some shit if you really wanted to do some shit, right? Is that too much like the right thing to do though? I've been. It's weird, man. Like, cause I like the sign. I think the sign looks nice, and I say this is someone who I spent. Here's the rub, right? I was thinking about this. I talk about me being from Chicago a lot, but in my 43 years, I spent more than 30 of those years here in like the Detroit area, right? I've got time here. I've got time vested here in the city of Detroit. I've worked here. I've lived here for the vast majority of my life, right? I have time and ties to Chicago, and I was born in Chicago. I graduated high school in Chicago, but the vast majority of my life I've lived in Detroit, right? So I feel like I got some room to motherfucking talk, man. I remember when the city of Detroit didn't have street lights and you couldn't see at fucking night, right? Well, we couldn't even keep the fucking street lights on. So to listen to niggas be talking about how, yo, we got this sign and the sign is weak and all, like, nigga, first of all, like, this is an improvement. Like, they put it in the hood. Like, imagine. You talking shit about it being in the hood. Like, yo, imagine them putting an improvement project in the hood and niggas complaining about it. Making songs about them putting shit in the hood. Right? That's crazy to me. That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. Y'all can't make me hate this sign, man. I think, like, you know, in large part, man, there are things that are happening in the city of Detroit that are good, man. There are things that are happening in the city of Detroit that are like forward movement, that are forward moving. Unfortunately, there's going to be some people left behind, and it's not because they're left behind because the city didn't want them to move forward. They're left behind because their mindset, right? The mindset. You don't want the city to improve. You don't see the improvement in the city, including you. That's a problem. Where you don't see improvement happening in your city and you being happy about it because you don't see yourself being a part of that when you could make yourself a part of that. You could make yourself a part of that. You don't have to poo-poo everything that's happening that's new. Man, why they putting up new lights around the people moving, nigga? Where they getting all this money from, nigga? What about my motherfucking sewer line, nigga? I got sewers backing up in my basement, nigga. Understand that, like, real talk, because I work in construction and stuff like that. Anything past that property line is your property, nigga. That's your responsibility. So what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Besides complain all the fucking time. Cause that's the one thing I've been noticing about like any improvements that's been going on in the city of Detroit, man, is a bunch of niggas complaining. A bunch of niggas complaining. Millions of dollars about to flood your fucking city, and you niggas are complaining. And like there was a time when nobody wanted to fuck with Detroit whatsoever. And you niggas are complaining. I don't understand it. I do not fucking understand it. And I probably won't understand it. I remember when I moved back to Detroit in 2004. So that would make 20 years since the last time I moved back here 20 years ago. And I'll never forget my family's reaction when I said I was moving back to Detroit. It's like, nigga, why you want to do that? Right? The fuck, you going where? Why? Ain't shit up there. And at the time, they wasn't lying. They had a right to be concerned about it. Right? They had a right to be concerned about it. There was nothing here. None of my family is here anymore. I am the last one. All of my elders either dead or have moved away from this motherfucker. So when I see improvements happening here, it's a vindication for me. Meanwhile, some of y'all see improvements happening and y'all get threatened that y'all thinking that like, yo, man, these white people coming back to the city, man. What about us? Hey, man, include your fucking self. Stop complaining about the shit and be a part of the shit. That's the part that I'm really trying to like balance. Right? Balance. Trying to understand the grievance, but at the same time, like, I don't know, man. Like, it could be worse, man. Like, yo, we about to have a Final Four here pretty soon. Now, I wouldn't say we're gonna get another motherfucking Super Bowl. I don't think that shit's gonna happen again. But anytime the city starts doing like, hey, we about to have company, so we need to do some cleaning up. We need to do some sprucing up around this motherfucker. And y'all upset about it? I don't understand you niggas. I don't. Straight up. Now, I did say that was one G-Mac Cash song. He did make another one because, of course, they put some lights in it, man. They put some lights in it. He had to come up with a remix about the lights. So let me pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me here as well while I play this out.
Put the sign up in some lights. For real? I ain't gonna lie, it kinda look alright, right? But that's only when you ride past it at night. Damn. I'm sick, y'all got me about to rap about this sign twice. Seen all the posts, they like, shit, let's just light it up. Every time I do a song about it, I just hype it up. Every time I see the sign, I just think of Dollar Tree. The same people had to make this sign, it just gotta be. I see a lot of people mad in the comments too. Okay. If you mad at me, you should be mad at your mama too. How you mad at me? Cause I want better for the city. And I ain't the person that just take when anybody give me. Shit, that tire on the freeway look better than this. If I had to rate it, I'd give it a 5 out of 10. This Detroit, something for us, you gotta really show out. When it rain and snow, I bet a couple letters probably go out. I'm about to hit up Big Rich and see what we can do. This can't be the only sign, we need another two. Detroit the best, you know all the shit that we done. We got the receipt, we just waiting on the refund. I'm talking about a sign, now they calling me a hater. I put on for the city, I'ma probably run for mayor. Give a fuck about that sign, talking about 400,000. When we got a city full of broke abandoned ass houses. Stop playing with me, man.
Yeah. They bought 6 signs for that 400,000. That's the other part, man. Like when like niggas don't be knowing what the fuck they talking about. But yeah, it's 6 signs, man, for $400,000. This is just the biggest one that they put up. But yeah, man, yeah, I don't get it, man. I don't get it. It city improvements happening and niggas are upset at city improvements. Nigga. Make that shit make sense, man. Make that shit make motherfucking sense, man. You know, real talk, man. But yo, I'm glad we had a little bit of a palate cleanser. You know what I'm saying? But it's time for me to get on up out of here. It's about time for me to get ready to go to bed and all that other shit and get back to the job tomorrow. But of course, before we get up out of here, I do have to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Mrs. Spann Official Podcast and let your voices be heard, go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails. Of course, those emails will get right here and applied to here live as well. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads. My name on all three of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there, chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and or Apple Podcasts, man. Leave us those 5-star reviews. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really do appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. Also, if you're watching us here live on YouTube and or Facebook, man, subscribe to us on YouTube, man. Go ahead and subscribe, and also leave us a comment there on YouTube, man. Let us know what you're thinking about what we're talking about here on the show. And if you're listening to us on Spotify and or Apple Podcasts, leave us a comment, leave us a review, 5-star reviews. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. Those don't cost you nothing. They're free. They're free. And it only take a couple minutes of time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us, right? Also, go to our website, www.thespannreport.com. You can go there. You can buy yourself some merch, man. Get yourself a coffee mug. Get yourself a t-shirt. Get yourself a hoodie. You know, save it for like next fall and shit, because it's getting a little warm outside, right? So, you know, get yourself a t-shirt. Get yourself a hoodie. Get yourself a coffee mug. Get yourself a mouse pad. We got some stuff in our store, man, and we really appreciate everybody who does that. That does cost you a few dollars, but it does help pay the bills over here for the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety, man. Real talk. I am about to get on up out of here, but I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam, peace.